Good afternoon, everyone. There's no point in being anxious or stressed about what we do not know. So during this period of the lockdown, while we are all privileged in the safety of our homes and wait for things to play out as they will, what we can do is upgrade ourselves. And I'm quoting the very wise Sadhguruji here when I say his advice has been that we must upgrade ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. Sadhguruji has explained that these upgradations will be vital when we step out into the new situation, one that we have not figured out yet. So let's not make assumptions. Let's not use our imagination and cause fear. Instead, let's invest in making ourselves more competent, more balanced, and better human beings. We are grateful for these webinars brought to you by the three Jamnabai Narsee schools under the umbrella of the Narsee Monji Educational Trust, that through the heterogeneity of speakers and their respective areas of expertise have offered so much for us to learn from. Abundant gratitude to our trustee, Mr. Sujay Jairaj, for conceptualizing these webinars very early into the lockdown. I am your host, Sonali Gandhi, and it is my privilege to introduce the moderator for the day, who in turn will introduce the speaker. Mukund Hari Nathani is our former student, one who has held several positions of responsibility in the most exemplary manner possible, who, in his own words, has embarked on a new adventure recently, that of TED Circles. He helps local discussions become a part of a global conversation. Mukund is here once more to moderate this session that has been scheduled consequent to the phenomenal response to the previous one, where the particular speaker we have lined up for you again left indelible impressions. Without any further ado, over to you, Mukund.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Ms. Sonali. It is my pleasure to be given an opportunity to moderate another webinar in this fantastic Jamnabai Narsee education series, and I cannot wait to begin. So good afternoon to everyone joining us from India, and hello to folks who've joined us from around the world. Today's speaker needs no introduction, but to remind ourselves of how fortunate we are to be addressed by him yet again, thanks to this wonderful initiative by the visionary and dynamic trustee, Mr. Sujay Jairaj, and the management of the Jamnabai Narsee schools. Here are a few words in his introduction. Mr. Anand A.C. Chulani has been the legacy advisor to world-class organizations such as Google, Disney, Accenture, Airtel, ExxonMobil, Credit Suisse, Cisco Systems, Toshiba, as well as elite family businesses such as Reliance Jio, Hero MotoCorp, and Pale Agro. As a success coach and an expert in mental and emotional fitness, Anand has worked with champions from all backgrounds, including prominent sports personalities such as Joss Butler, Marcus Stoinis, and Ross Taylor, to name a few. In addition to working with the champions of today, Anand is on a mission to create champions of tomorrow. His vision is to inspire a generation of youth to be happy, confident, and successful world-changing leaders. In line with this mission, AC today will speak on the topic, the heart of a champion, how to build emotional strength. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my privilege to invite international award-winning speaker, legacy advisor to elite family businesses, success coach to champions in business, entertainment and sports, founder of Absolute Champions, an author, an actor, a comedian, and our guest for today, Mr. Anand Chulani. Good morning to you, sir. It's a pleasure to have you join all the way from London.
Good morning, Mukund. Great to have you. Great to connect with you. Thank you. Yes, it is early in the morning here in London, and I appreciate the full biography of my life. You've given my background from 13 years ago, which was my acting and entertainment background. I haven't done that for 13 years, but thank you for reminding me of my past. for me, my work today, as you know, is working with people and helping them as a success coach and legacy advisor and expert in mental emotional fitness, helping them get the best out of themselves. And the mission is to help 1 billion people in India and help our country be a nation of champions. So thank you for the time. And I appreciate this. And I want to also acknowledge before we start all the people who put this together, including yourself, your entire IT and tech team who put this together, Ms. Sonali, the entire leadership of Jamnabai, the board of trustees. I had a lovely call with them yesterday to align with them on how we can work together even beyond this. And I can tell you, I work now with I don't know how many schools. I'm an advisor to Georgetown, to Harrow, to Stanford, all these different universities and schools. And leadership starts from the top, and it starts from the people being aligned to it. I work with companies, whether it be a Google or whether it be a Reliance. It's the companies where the leadership is aligned to what the vision is, where they live the values, where they're truly committed to being champions, where things stick. Otherwise, it's like a nice motivation talk where everyone feels good for an hour, but everyone forgets it an hour later. And my work is about sustainability. So, that's the piece there. So I wanted to just align with you today. What are we here for, right? And first of all, welcome to all the people from all the parents of Jamnabai.
So if you may, before you begin, just a quick message to all attendees. So Mr. Chulani here has a planned presentation for everybody, after which there will be a quick Q&A session with him. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to use the Q&A tool of Zoom, which will be on the top of your screen if you're on a mobile or iPad, or the bottom if you are connecting from your laptop. Please do shoot any questions, and I will be more than happy to ask these questions to AC on your behalf after he has finished his presentation. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem. I appreciate that. And so I'm happy to answer any questions. I think the most important today is this is not how many of you guys, and by I'm going to be quite interactive with you. So even if you're sitting at home and if you're just sitting there going, okay, this is not a typical 7-hour assembly that Anand, where Anand's energy is in the room. I want you to feel my energy, because without energy, we have nothing in life. And if you don't have energy, you can't be a great parent. If you don't have energy, you can't be a great leader in your business. If you have energy, you can't bring anything to your relationship. So I need you to be committed, because this will not be those talks where you make notes and never use it again in your life. I'm here to make sure this is not motivation. I don't believe in motivation. I believe in activation. Activating who you are and helping you get the best results today to really connect with your kids at the best level, to help them be strong emotionally and help yourself be strong emotionally, because these are not easy times. And let me tell you something, anyone here who expects us to go back to normal after this is misleading themselves. There will be no normal after this. There'll be a new normal. And you got to adapt to that world. There will be a world where, in terms of, so many kids, I'm doing webinars on weekends with young people, and so many kids today are scared of their future. They're so scared of what could happen to me. There's a whole class of people who are supposed to graduate now who expect to go into the world and don't know what to happen. And let me tell you something to start off with. Let's put the context, and then we'll explain why it's important to be a champion and how do you be a champion in terms of emotional resilience. There are different seasons of the world. There's a spring, there's a summer, there's an autumn, there's a winter. And every century of the world goes through a season, goes through 4 different seasons. And it can happen at different times. In 2008, 2009, the world went into winter, financially into winter. And there are people who were that time of life were wanting to start their career, wanted to start graduating from university. How do you deal with those kids? How do you deal with those young people? I myself went through this because I started my business in 2008. Now, at a time where most businesses were shutting down, I decided to start a business. And that's the reason, because in winter, we have a choice. We can sit at home and we can complain about the cold, or we can go outside and we can ski. And I'm talking about it, there was a metaphor here. I know in India, we're not going to ski much here, but the metaphor of what is my mindset in a business context, am I going out there to survive, or am I going out there to survive and thrive? in a relationship context, is my focus right now just, relationships not important, we're in survival mode, it's do? Or am I going to use this time to improve my relationship with my spouse or improve my relationship with my children? What my mindset is will dictate how I respond to that season. And whether that's a long season or a short season. Now, in the world, it'll be a certain season. But in your psychology, it'll be a certain length of time. And if your length of time is short in terms of winter, because you're able to get yourself out of that mindset quickly, then you are able to take your business or your family to spring faster than anyone else. And to do that, we must really think of, what does it mean to be a winter warrior? What does it mean to be a champion? Well, the first thing is to know that winter is not a bad season, because it's a season sometimes where in fall, autumn, you kind of know what's going on, you know there are issues, but then you don't really deal with it. And then winter, it's there for you. You have weak knees, winter will hit you at your weakest point. You have a weak relationship of communication with your spouse, winter will stress that right now. You have a weak relationship or connection with your child, it'll do that. You're a person who goes into overwhelm or anxiety normally, winter will hit you at that weakest point. And it's not doing it to hurt you, it's doing it to make you stronger, to grow you. Because the one phrase I want you to remember, it's the most important thing I'll say today, except for everything else I say, which is also important, is this. Life does not happen to you. Life is happening for you. And if you truly believe that, it's not an easy thing to believe. But if you truly believe that, you can grow in any season of life. And I believe, let me tell you something, it's easy to succeed in summer. But if you really want your children to be set up for success in life and sustainable success, not just short-term success, they need to know how to handle every season of life. Not just the summer, not just instant gratification of press a button on my phone and I get what I want. They've grown up in summer because everything's come to them easy. Now they have to work for it. Now they have to build muscle. Now they have to build a different work ethic. Now, a lot of parents I talk to always tell me, my child is not persistent. They don't really work hard. They don't have that work ethic. Well, now is the time to get it because they have no choice. People who will outwork them and get better results at a time like this. If they're not a warrior, trust me, someone else can be a warrior. So now is the time, if they have that dream, to really develop the discipline, the muscle to be able to make it happen. And I also say this to you because there are 3 generations, and I talked about it a little bit last time, when it comes to parents. There's the generation of, let's say, my parents' generation, which I call them the generation of perseverance, right? It didn't matter what you like to do in life. It didn't matter what you enjoy. Who cares what your career is? Who cares what you enjoy? Enjoyment has nothing to do with it. Persevere. Work hard. Put your nose down and if we focus on a goal and make it happen. They came from that generation, all about perseverance. And that made sense because they grew up during world wars and all these things. So for them, it was about perseverance. Our generation, my generation, is about passion. Because we looked at that generation and said, there's something wrong with it. No one's happy. They're working hard, they're sacrificing, but they're not happy. And so we became the generation of passion, of do what you love. And then there's a 3rd generation, which is today's generation. And let me tell you something, they're not the generation of do what you love. They're not the generation of passion. They are not the generation of perseverance. What they are is the generation of purpose. They look up to the Elon Musks of the world. They've come up with the Ubers and all these kind of things in the world. They have seen people use technology in a way to create a higher purpose. And for a lot of these guys, they're looking for their higher purpose. In fact, I read a study the other day, years ago, people wanted to be, astronauts and engineers. Today, people want to be bloggers. That's the world we live in today. People want to be video bloggers. They want to start their own app. That's the world we live in today. They want to find something in technology that makes an impact, that makes them look cool, and that finds a purpose. And if you fight that need of theirs, you will be pushing upstream. If you talk all about passion and they're speaking purpose, it's like two people speaking two different languages. And then if your parents jump into it, their grandparents, they'll be talking the language of persistence and perseverance. And let me tell you, I coach a lot of family businesses, and I see this challenge between the three generations all the time. The answer, the solution is all three are important. But for kids, it starts with purpose first, then it's their passion, and then let's build in them the perseverance to go after it. It's an alignment between all three generations, but it starts with purpose. When I do our camps, we've done them for Vidya Birla School, for Vasant Valley School, for Harrow School, all over the world. And in 2 days, every kid who's age 13 to 18 knows exactly why, what their career is, why they want to do it. They have an inner compass that's aligned with their purpose and their passion. And then we give them a work plan. And our next camp is really building in them the perseverance to then go after that. So I say this in a context because your child has three choices right now. I talked about this last time, but it's important to restack it. We can be a self-doubter, and I'm sure you know a child like that. They have a dream, they want to do well in a certain subject, but am I good enough? Can I do it? Then there's the achiever, which we've all been taught. Have a goal, have a target, achieve your goal, and then when you achieve your goal, you feel good about yourself. But what happens when you don't achieve your goal? What happens when you don't get that A? What happens when you don't get into the university of your choice? What happens when COVID comes and it stops you from being an achiever? How do you handle it then? Well, look at the right graph there. Your happiness with yourself goes up and down. And if it goes up and down and spikes up and down, you will burn out. That's why so many high achievers today get results, but are burning out physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. So you need to be energy rich. You need to be emotionally wealthy. And to do that is a path I call the champion. So the champion, if you look at the graph is going for success as well. If you can put that up, Ashima, please. But the looking inside, the happiness with yourself is a continuous line. It's sustainable. Your happiness will inspire success. When I worked with the World Cup team, the England team last summer, I told Ben Stokes and Josh Butler the night before, I said, tomorrow, 22 people will go on that field, all thinking if they win this trophy, it'll make them a champion. I told them, I said, you'll be the two who go on that field because you've done my work and I've coached you. And the difference will be you will walk on that field already a champion, and yes, you'll get a trophy. It's a different way of looking at the world. And when you do that, you can sustain success. So if you're going to go through winter, if your child's going to go through winter, you need to be on the champion path. So if you're up for that, put your hand up. I can't even see you right now, but I want to hear your energy and feel your energy and say, let's do this. Look at you. If your husband is there in the room, or your grandma, or whoever is there, just look at them, or your dog. It doesn't matter. Look at them right now and say, let's do this. All right? So if you're up for this, say, let's go AC. And please don't call me sir. Let's say, let's go AC. Anand, Chulani, yes, but AC is who people know me by. So if we're going to do this, the first step, there are many steps, but one step I talked about last time is to have the right energy. So if you haven't done this already, please go to my website. You'll see I've got a tool up there. It's literally a free tool where you can use it to supercharge yourself. It's my routine that I do every day to supercharge my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical battery. Because all four batteries are important. If you're just sleeping and taking care of your nutrition, but you're getting exhausted mentally and you're sleeping to get energy, it won't work. That's like using a Samsung charger in an Apple phone. It doesn't work. You need the right charger for the right phone. Just like you need the right charger for the right battery in your life. So please go there and get that. Also, to support you through this path, one of the batteries that's important is the emotional battery. Let me tell you, most people are exhausted and don't have the strength to go through things because physically they're fine, mentally they're fine, but emotionally they're not. And let me tell you that the biggest difference between a champion and an achiever. Achievers have high mental energy and high physical energy, but they don't have high emotional and spiritual energy. Self-doubters have low energy and all, maybe a little bit on physical, but that'll go down pretty quickly. So you need that energy. So today I want to focus on the emotional energy, and that comes with the piece which is your emotional resilience. And let me tell you something. Quickly, just write this down if you're there. What are the emotions you feel on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis? What are the emotions you're feeling now? Write down all the positive ones, write down all the negative ones. So I feel joy, excitement, happiness, gratitude, and I also feel stress, overwhelm, frustration, sadness. What do you feel? Write it down right now. What are the emotions you feel positive? What are the emotions you feel negative? And let me ask you a question. The negative emotions, are they helping you? Are they serving you? Do they help your children? I coached a child recently, a 14-year-old girl from a school in Bombay, and she was so nervous and so anxious. And I said, great, happy to help you. I said, can I meet your parents? She said, sure. And her parents actually contacted me, and I spent some time, I did a coaching session with them. And the parents were driven by anxiety and nervousness. So a drowning man or woman cannot save a sinking ship. If you are going through anxiety and depression and worry and tension and stress, then how can you help your child? You have no power. You can tell them don't be stressed, but they look at you and say, hold on, you're not living it. Leadership means leading your own ship. So it's the same thing in a company. You can tell your team all the time, hey, I want you to have energy, but if you got no energy, trust me, remember parents, repeat after me, I set the standard. I set the standard in my energy, in my mindset, in my emotional set, in my physical set. I set the standard. So for you right now, let me ask you the question. What are the emotions you feel? And are they serving you? Are they serving your children? Quickly also write down, as you're doing this, what are the emotions your children are currently feeling? Maybe they're feeling bored. Maybe they're feeling lazy. Maybe they're feeling motivated. Maybe they're feeling a mixture. Maybe they're feeling disconnected. So what are the emotions that they are feeling? And now let me show you a tool that will help you get that. And I believe there are 5 core emotions we have to build in ourselves. Now, I've studied champions of all backgrounds. I've interviewed, my book's coming out this year, and I've interviewed Ratan Tata to Sachin, to Sri Devi, to Donna Karan, to Serena Williams. And I've coached, as you know, the people I've coached with, companies all around the world. And I'll tell you something, the key right now is to take responsibility, the ability to emotionally respond. And we have choice. Some of us can respond with fear or stress or anxiety or depression or overwhelm, and we won't get the results we want right now. Or we can respond with courage, with faith, with inspiration, with determination. We get to choose. Let me tell you something. Emotions do not happen to us. We do emotions. I can take any human being, anxiety, depression, and help them shift their behavior in a matter of hours. I can take some off smoking in 3 hours. Every single behavior we do, every single thing we do is driven by an emotion. Once you know that emotion, it's literally a fuel. You shift the fuel and you can shift the result. If you're not achieving what you want in your life right now, it's very, very rarely is it a lack of strategy. More frequently is it actually that you don't have the emotional fuel in your tank. You're trying to drive towards your goal, but you don't have the fuel to get there. So I believe there are 5 core muscles that a person has to, the most important muscles to respond to, who are champions. First one is courage. So just sit up straight with some energy. And I do this in our camp. We teach these 5 muscles. Repeat after me. Take your fist right now and just repeat after me and say, courage. Now, when you say courage, don't be like, courage. That is not courage. Okay? Just bang the chest and say, courage. Feel that in your body. Now repeat after me and squeeze your right fist and say, confidence. One more time, confidence. Now repeat after me and put your hand like this and say, commitment, like a laser focus. Commitment. Then repeat after me, click your fingers and say, creativity. Repeat after me, creativity. And then finally put your hand on your heart and breathe in, breathe out, and just say, caring. And all these 5 muscles are important because if your child doesn't have courage today, they won't get through what's going on. If you don't have courage today, you can't help them. Courage means, yes, there's fear. Fear is part of life, but I have the courage. I have the inner strength to go through this. Confidence. I interview for Georgetown, I interview for colleges. I'll tell you right now, the kid who comes in there who's confident is the one who's going to get it. Confidence is not just acting confident. It's, look underneath that. There's a word, self-belief, truly believing yourself. You don't have to be loud, but I can tell that you believe in yourself. Commitment. If you're not committed today, you can have all the dreams you want, all the ideas in business, nothing will happen. Commitment is following through, taking action. Then finally, creativity. You kids today need the ability to be resourceful. Right? I can't find one way of doing this. How do I find another way? I coached a kid who was getting a D in a certain subject, and we got him up to an A in 3 months. How do we do that? We use creativity. The kid loves a certain music. Okay, instead of fighting music, he loves music, but he hates, the subject. He was Spanish. Okay, great. How do we help him utilize the power of music to improve his ability in Spanish? How do we find out what I call his learning styles, his 3 learning styles? We found out his learning style, and then we helped him optimize that using creativity. And then finally, caring. Because whether you're a business leader who has to take care of your customers, whether you're a parent, right now, a simple rule in life. It's not the person who's the most intelligent that will win the game of life. It's the person who's the most caring. If you care about your customers right now more than anyone else, trust me, you'll get the market. If you care about your children right now more than anyone else could care for them, trust me, you'll be the biggest person who influenced them in their life. Otherwise, they'll find someone else. Your children right now need to care for themselves. In fact, a lot of us sometimes, we don't get the results in our life because we don't care for ourselves. We don't take care. What is happening with COVID? What is that teaching us? That's teaching us that we need to take care of our planet. We need to take care of our health. We need to take care of our lives, take care of our family. And I told you before, life doesn't happen to us, it's happening for us. I believe what's happening right now in COVID is not happening to us. It's happening so that we can build these 5 muscles. And if we don't build these 5 muscles, we cannot sustain this planet. So we've got to build it. Your children have to build it. Now, I can give you a way, one-on-one coaching or in a small group sessions, just reach out to my team, we can do that, of measuring your child's muscles. I can measure them for you. I can literally give you a plan to build that muscle every day. But let me give you one tool today to get you towards that. And by the way, underneath that, there are inner muscles. Under courage is self-worth. If I'm worthy, I'll have the courage to speak up. Under confidence is self-belief. If I believe in myself, I'll have the confidence. Under commitment is self-trust. I can be committed to other people, but if I don't trust myself, it's useless. Under creativity is self-growth. If you don't want to learn, you have no creativity. You'll be using stale ideas and finding stale solutions to things. And finally, under caring is self-love. You can care for everyone. I know there's some moms out there who are amazing moms and super moms. Hear me. If you don't love yourself, if you don't care for yourself, you can't help your children. And what you'll be teaching them in life is not how to give. You'll be teaching them how to be a pleaser, not a giver. A giver makes sure that they get the oxygen first. And love is our oxygen. Caring is our ventilator. So in the world today, you got to take care of yourself every day, first thing, no matter what. Oxygen and mask on you first before your child. That way you can serve them. So in the last few minutes I have here, let me show you how you can put yourself in a different emotional state. So on behalf of Jamnabai, I'm going to give you a new car. And your new car is called the BMW. So just repeat after me. Thanks, AC, for my BMW. So let's put up on the screen, please. The BMW is 3 things. This is how you can be in the right emotional state. Remember I told you, you don't feel emotions, you do emotions? Well, there are 3 things that trigger our emotions. One is our body, right? If I'm standing a certain way, I'll feel courage. If I'm like this, I can never feel courage. If I'm like this, I can never feel confidence. If I'm like this, I can never feel commitment. So many times I'm coaching kids or coaching parents, they say, AC, I'm going to do this next week. I look at their body and they're telling me they're going to do it, but I know they're not going to do it. Or a company I'm working with. The leadership team says, yeah, AC, we're going to get this goal by next quarter. And I can see everyone's body like this. They don't have the confidence. They don't have the commitment. Your body your body language is 55% of your communication. So you're going to put your body in a state which accesses what you need. When I survived the earthquake in Nepal. I built these five muscles, by the way, in myself daily. It's like a gym I go to. I build that in myself. In fact, as I'm working out, I build it as well, because I'm not building physical muscle, I'm building emotional muscle together. So your body language is everything. The second is your mind. Your mind is controlled by the thoughts you have, the questions you ask yourself. If I say, will I get through this? Can we achieve this? When will COVID end? If I ask those questions, am I going to feel good about it? If I say, how do I use this time to connect my children? How do I love the people I care for most? How do I grow as a human being? How do I help people? A different question will bring out a different emotion. A different emotion will then produce a different result, because you'll have to take a different action. And the third one is words. So I told someone last time, I said, you can call this self-isolation, or you can call this self-love, or you can call this time self-discipline, or you can call this time self-growth, or you can call this time self-connection. Whatever you call, language you use will affect how you feel. How many of you at home get stressed? Put your hand up. How many of you do this? You go up to someone, you go, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed. Let me tell you how stressed I'm stressed. The more you say, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, what are you going to feel? Stressed. My mother calls me up. She goes, Anand, I feel tired. I'm so tired. I've had a long day. I'm tired. I said, Mom, are you tired? She goes, how did you know? I said, because you keep saying it over and again. I feel tired. There are certain words that if you use them, they cause pain. Children hate the word homework. If you want your child to do well in school, let me give you one little hint. Don't use the word homework. You don't like that word, and neither do they. I had one kid who changed their grades just by changing one word. He said, I'm no longer doing homework, I'm doing home play. And now learning became play. It became enjoyment. It didn't become work. And also, another word, studying. That's a silly word. How many people like to study? Not study, like to study. 10%, 20%. How many kids love to learn? When I do seminars, webinars with my kids, everyone puts up their hand. Use learning instead of studying, and you will get a different emotional response from your kids. If you're an employee of a company, everyone hates reviews. In my company, we don't call them reviews, we call them previews. Because I don't want to just review you and beat you down. I want to look at what's the preview to who you're going to be. So what you say, the language you say affects how you feel. Just watch this right now. Sit up straight with some energy. Close your eyes. Do not fall asleep on me. And quickly as a parent, close your eyes and think of any goal in your life. Any goal. A goal for your children, a goal for yourself, a goal for your health, a goal for your family, anything. Close your eyes and just think of it. And as you do it, hope that it goes well. Hope. Don't expect it. Just hope that it goes well. Maybe it'll happen. Keep your eyes closed and tell me, as you're doing that, do you see one image, two images? Is it a strong image? Is it far away? Open your eyes and now watch this. Sit up straight. Now sit up with some confidence. Sit up with some courage. Breathe in. Breathe out. Close your eyes. And as you're closing your eyes right now, I want you to expect that it's going to happen. See like it's already happened. Imagine that goal is done. You've made it happen. You visualize it. It's happened. It's already done. And squeeze your right fist as you're doing that and say, I am courage. And squeeze your right fist and say, I am confidence. And squeeze your right fist and say, I am commitment. And see that goal like it's already done. And squeeze your fist and say, it's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. Open your eyes. Now tell me how you feel about that goal. Now the goal hasn't happened. I didn't even know your goal. If you feel more certainty towards that goal, put your hand up. This is what I'm showing you. The emotional state we need to be in right now is a state of certainty, because there's so much uncertainty around us. But certainty is not something that happens outside. It starts on the inside. I don't even know your goal. You getting your goal, achievers wait for goals to happen to get certainty. Champions create certainty and then get their goals. They know that it's not see it to believe it, it's believe it, then I'll see it. So my question to you is this right now, if you put yourself in the right body, in the right mind, in the right words, will you be able to be in the right state? Absolutely you will. So if these three things are connected, you'll be in the best state possible. So right now, quickly, while you're doing this, before I wrap up, think of the state you want to feel. Is it courage? Is it confidence? Is it commitment? Is it creativity? Is it caring? Which one do you want more of in your life? And as you think about it, remember a time you felt that emotion. When were you last courageous? When were you last confident? When did you last feel committed? When did you last feel creative, caring? What was your body like? Were you standing? Were you smiling? What was your mind like? What question were you asking yourself? How do I make this happen? How do I change this person's life? How do I help them? What were your words? I can do this. I've got this. I'm a champion. Let's go. Write down your words. Write down what you focused on and write down what your body language is like. When you do these three things, you're giving yourself your success formula to access that emotion, to do that emotion, so that even if uncertainty comes, you can trigger it. So right now, what is that feeling in you right now? Just write it down. And what's the body, what's the mind, and what's the words? And I want you to remember these notes. What's the body? Smiling, my shoulders back, my chest out, I was breathing deep. My mind, what was the question I was asking? And the words, what was I saying to myself? So capture that, because at the end of our session, and Mukund, please make sure, right 5 minutes before we end the session, I'm going to do a closed eye process with you, and I'm going to get you into that most powerful state, and I'm going to leave you in the seminar with you feeling the best you felt all day. And I'm going to take you in that process and show you literally how you can not just motivate yourself, but activate yourself to that state. And then I'm going to give you a trigger you can use to access that state anytime you want, to really give yourself the level of resilience that you need. So I hope this is helpful. And by the way, if this is interesting to you, not only am I going to give you these tools and do the Q&A with you now, but if any of you are interested, I'm actually starting to support people. It's a course I usually do, and I usually charge people. I'm going to do it for free. A 21-day challenge on how to be at your peak, most powerful state. And we're going to take you through every day, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. We're going to start a WhatsApp group. I'm going to bring in experts from around the world who are experts in body, health, nutrition, emotions. I'll be doing emotions and mind. And then we got some spiritual practices there that'll literally put you in the highest level of energy and charge. So if you're up for that, please sign up for that. It's a limited thing. Happy to do that, to really be your coach. It's free to really be your coach and make sure that you build that muscle every day so you can take care of your children.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, AC. I must say, I live in a city, Mumbai, which is in the red zone of the lockdown in India. And
Yes.
other than that, I am 3 months away from my 18th birthday, so I'm not licensed to drive. But
Right.
the BMW you've given me can be driven anywhere, anytime, any age. So thank you so much.
I love that. What a beautiful thing. And by the way, even the word lockdown. Am I locked down? Is someone locked me down? Or
Yeah.
is this lockdown, or is this breathing space? Is this time out? Is this time in? Whatever word you want to use, phrase you want to use, affects how you feel. No one wants to be locked down. In fact, that feeling makes someone feel not free. So I would never use that word. I've never used the word lockdown in my life.
Right.
Because my soul
So,
cannot be locked down.
of course. So can we quickly go through? We have about 5 questions. And
Yes.
meanwhile, I'll encourage the other attendees, if you have questions, please do ask them now so that I can present them to AC well within time. The first question we have, AC, is how can, I'm guessing this is from a parent, how can we make children more confident?
How can we make children more confident? Well, let me correct something in this. Your child is confident. I meet parents all the time and say, my child's not confident. Yes, he is. I went to school. You some of you know my story. I was voted least likely to succeed at the age of 13, not confident. People told me I was not confident. But the more someone tells me I was not confident, I didn't feel confident. So telling your child, oh, there's a problem with your confidence, doesn't help them. That's the first part. The second thing is they are confident, meaning the muscle of confidence is in them. It's just not being used. So we got to show them how to activate that muscle. So in this energy challenge we're doing, I'll give you literally the tools every day where you can build confidence, and then you can use it for your kid. But as a short answer to that question is your BMW. Get your child to say things to themselves that makes them feel confident. I can't do this. It's not going to make them feel confident. Will I do well in that test? It's not going to make them feel confident. When they say, will I do well in this test? You say, well, what would happen if you did? Change the question. Okay, but haven't you studied really well? I have. Didn't you do well in your last test? I did. How did you feel when you did well in your last test? You ask a different series of questions. You instantly shift how they feel and you push them towards a different direction. When they go into low confidence, it's because they're asking a series of questions or saying a certain amount of self-talk or putting themselves in a certain physiology that takes them away from their confidence.
Thanks a lot. To that parent, I hope that answers your question. The next question, also from a parent, is that my daughter's good in studies, but she feels emotionally depressed. She starts crying from time to time. What is the reason behind it?
That's a very tricky question because I've not met your daughter and there can be 100 reasons for that reason. If it's a depression situation, please contact me. My team will, my staff will we contact, happy to do a one-to-one private session. That's the appropriate place to deal with it because it could be anything. They could be depressed because they're worried about their exams. They could be depressed because of a relationship. They could be depressed because so many, I can't give like a vanilla answer here, and I'm very customized in what I do. So depression is something, honestly, like I said, a session of 2 or 3, we can turn that around. I've been depressed. I've worked with over almost 1,000 people who are depressed. I've worked with over 100 suicidal people and turned them all around. So it's not not a difficult thing to turn around. We just need to know what the triggers are that are creating that depression. So she's good in studies. I'll just answer this. She's good in studies, but it sounds like she's an achiever. She's on the success part. She's winning the external game, but she's not winning the internal game. So the goal is not look at her as, oh my God, my child's depressed, I'm worried, because that won't help her. What if you look at this and say, my child's depressed, this is an opportunity to help them become a champion. If you look at it that way, instead of being worried about your child, you'll be inspired to help your child. And that energy will not make them feel bad or feel judged. In fact, they'll feel like they can connect. And by the way, one thing I tell parents all the time, be emotionally honest with your children. One of the things I do is I tell people I've been depressed, I've been this. Now they know I'm not judging them. We're so trained in our Indian culture to say, be strong. But let me tell you something, being authentic and being honest is strength. If a parent dies or a family member dies and you tell your child, be strong, trust me, pushing down the emotion doesn't make them stronger. It actually makes them weak, their whole nervous system. And you're teaching them to not be real and be honest with themselves and instead to hide. And you push a snake down, it will come back up. I coached a kid who, one of my camps, who was suicidal. Why? Because when she works at one of the companies I'm working with, they did the corporate did sponsored a thing for the kids, a camp. And she came and she said, my father lost his mother and my nani, my dadi. And when it happened, no one was there to talk to me. I was told to be strong at the age of 16, and no one showed me how to be strong. Being honest and being real shows strength, shows vulnerability. And if there's men on this call, their fathers, let me tell you something right now. We've all been taught, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. It's not about crying, it's about being real. Because emotion is part of life. The stock exchange is all emotion. To think men are not emotional is the silliest thing I've ever heard. Emotion is what drives life. It's a question of using the right emotion and having responsibility. Feeling depressed, okay, let me own that I'm depressed. What's the emotion I want to feel? I want to feel faith. I want to feel courage. Okay, let me own and accept that I'm feeling depressed now and be real, and then find the other fuel that's going to take me out of it. I hope that helps.
Thank you. The next question we have here is, how do you inculcate all of this knowledge in very young children? And what would a teacher's role be in this?
Great question. I teach the 5 C's to every kid we work with. So in our camps, we literally train it. Anytime a kid does something, we acknowledge them for living these muscles. With young kids, it's fun. I do sessions with parents and children for young kids, like 5 to 8 and above, even 4 to 8, actually. And there, literally, we get them to do the anchors. So the anchors I showed you today, I am courage, which is the heart. I am confidence, which is the fist, which is strength. I am commitment. I am creativity. I am caring. There's a family I'm coaching right now with the kids, I think 4 and 7 and 9. And literally what we do is I anchor this with them, with the parents. The parents reward them every time they live these values and live these muscles. And anytime they go into a negative state, they look at them and say, what do you think is the emotion you need right now? Which of those 5 muscles? But mom, they didn't call me at school and they didn't call me this, they didn't do this, and they left me out. Yeah, but which muscle do you think is, if you made it stronger, you'd feel better right now? Courage? Yes, okay, good. Let's build the courage. And then you work with them on the courage. Or you remind them of the definitions of those 5 muscles and say, which one is the right? In that way, you're showing them that what they're feeling, you hear and you're present to, but that they have a choice. And even that small idea, kids can learn very quickly at young ages. And let me tell you something. If a child's not doing well academically, very rarely is it their lack of intelligence. More frequently is it because they don't have the confidence or the courage in that subject. They're not committed to it. They're not creative in finding a way, and they don't care about it.
Thank you. I think a similar question also about the younger children is that if you want to mold your child from early childhood to become a champion, how do you mold them to be emotionally strong from early childhood?
Early childhood. Well, let me give you one. For any parents of young kids out there, I'll give you a thing we do with the kids. It's really fun. It's an anchor. But to do this, I need you to be a kid for a second, parents. I cannot, if you're like a boring adult, it doesn't work. So I need you to tap into your energy and creativity to do this. So here's what I teach for really young kids. Here's the exercise. It's 3, what I call incantations every day. And these are the 3. Okay, so just repeat after me. Okay, just look at me right now and just repeat after me and say, I am strong. You give it me. 1, 2, 3. I am strong.
I'm strong.
Touch the head here. I'm smart.
I'm smart.
And nothing can stop me.
Nothing can stop me.
We'll do it one more time. I'm strong.
I'm strong.
I'm smart.
I'm smart.
And nothing can stop me. I'll do it faster, right? With some energy right now. I'm strong.
I'm strong.
I'm smart.
I'm smart.
Nothing can stop me. I'm strong.
I'm strong.
I'm smart. Nothing can stop me. Now, why we say that is because I'm strong is not about how strong I am, how big I am. It's my heart. It's basically you're teaching children that the strongest part of them is their resilience. That's why we're anchoring it to the heart. Smart, we're showing them that they have all the intelligence in them. They just have to use it. And when they're not getting something, it doesn't mean they're not smart. It just means they haven't got it yet. But there's intelligence underneath it. There's a software that can figure this out. And nothing can stop me shows them that they're not a victim in life. Their life is not happening to them, that nothing can stop them. And I'll tell you something, the cutest thing that happens, I get these messages from these 4-year-old kids, literally from their parent, of course. And they're literally like, I'm strong, I'm strong, I'm smart. And they literally do it before exams or before they go to class or if they're nervous to go to someone's birthday. They literally do these 3 things and it puts them in this state. And I'll tell you, if you do that every day, that's like emotional gym for your children. But don't just make them do it. Explain. Strong. What does that mean? I'm smart. I can figure this out. And nothing can stop me. I'm the hero of my own journey. I'm a champion.
Thank you. Another question we have here is, the parent says, I love the different word examples you gave, like learning instead of studying. Yes. Could you give some more of these positive alternative words that we could use in daily life?
Sure, no problem. A word I would never use, my team is banned from using it, is the word problem. How does the word problem make you feel? Oh, I got a problem. Oh, let me tell you about my problem. The word we use is challenge. How do you feel about challenge? Much better than a problem. Challenge is, let's go. I can figure this out. It brings out a different emotion in you. So if you like the word challenge, I would use that word. Someone tells me my team, I've got a problem, AC. I go, tell me about your challenge. And if I'm coaching someone, I got the biggest problem. My life is so terrible. Tell me about your challenge and what's specifically going on in your life right now. We tend to exaggerate things. So we as people tend to do three things. We globalize, my life is terrible. The world has ended, right? Or we, right? Kids are such drama kings and drama queens sometimes, right? We make the biggest thing. One small thing happens in their life and they go, everyone hates me. And I just look at the kid and go, does everyone hate you? I remember one of my camps, the kid said to me, I have no friends. I said, okay, can I borrow your phone for a second? They go, okay, sure. I looked at their phone. I said, who is Vedant, Shah? Who is Avi Patel? They're my friends. Oh, but you told me you had no friends. So are these people your friends or who are they? Or do you feel like right now my friends that I have are not connecting with me? That's what you're really feeling. Just tell yourself I have no friends actually makes you feel worse about the situation. And when you feel worse, you won't have the emotional resourcefulness to solve it. And sometimes as parents, the biggest tip I can give you is help your child define a problem or challenge in a way that can be solved. You cannot solve, I have no friends, but you can solve, how do I feel about the friend that didn't contact me today? So the words we use hijacks how we feel. And we see all the time. And, if we look at certain press conferences in the world, maybe in the United States, maybe with a president rhyming with bump, you can see certain words that trigger him and literally emotional states that he goes into. And literally if someone says the word China, right, you see this tension in his body, right? So the words we use affects how we feel and affects how we respond to something. So be conscious of every word. A word I use every day is I ask myself one question in the morning: what am I grateful for? I appreciate. When you can appreciate something, my team and I have a strategy, and ask everyone on my team. At the end of every call we have every week, we ask ourselves two questions: what was great and what could be even better? Every session we do. We don't say what was terrible. We don't say what was lousy. We don't use words like that. We say what was great. We look at the positive first, and what could be even better. What if you use that with your children? Hey, you got a C in this subject and an A in that subject. Okay, what was great? You got the A. What could be even better? Okay, we can take it from a C to a B. Not what did you mess up on? What did you fail on? Why are you a loser? What could you do even better next time? I could study harder. I could prepare more. I could not play this game. I could focus on this. Okay, let's work on solutions together to solve it, instead of blaming you and making you feel bad about yourself. Which, by the way, the child is already doing. So you just blaming them more doesn't help.
Right. So, AC, I'm glad you brought about friends, because we have a question which exactly mentions friends. How to help my daughter.
And by friends, we're not referring to the TV show, right? I hope.
Not the TV show, no. The fact that people say they don't have any friends. But here's a question from a parent saying, how to help my daughter as she gets carried away by her friends and pressure from them, and does everything what's been told to her, even if it's wrong.
It's a great question. Thank you. Sorry, who is the question from?
It's from a parent who's talking about her daughter.
Okay. So parent, if you're there, please, it's great to meet you and connect with you. It's a very powerful question you've asked. Let me tell you the number one thing. This is for you and for anything in life. Friends are there in our life to represent two things: our values and our standards. So if you're around people that are living from different values from you, that's going to create conflict. If they're living at different standards to you, that's going to create conflict. Let me take you an example of the power of friends in the peer group. They did a study at the University of San Diego, and they said, what's the number one factor in a person putting on and losing weight? Let me tell you, it's not how much you eat. It's not your nutrition. It's not, how much you exercise. It's one factor, your peer group. Why do I play tennis with someone better than me? Because I'm raising my standards by doing it. If I'm not doing well in a subject, I teach kids this all in my seminars and webinars all the time. Be around kids who are already getting results in that area. Being around them will raise your standards. And the same thing there is, I want to be your friends, your kids' friends should be kids that raise their standards, not lower their standards. And that doesn't mean their standards academically. I mean their standards in everything. Their standards in caring, their standards in courage, their standards in leadership, their standards in compassion. We do a webinar every Saturday, and you're welcome to join, send your kids to it for teenagers. The information we can put up there every Saturday. It's a free webinar, 6 to 7 p.m. And community we've created of 150 kids, we are setting a culture and standards of kids who empower each other. Every week we've seen amazing things happen. One kid's literally improved their grades, or their health has improved, or they've connected with their parents better, or they now started a business, or they started a women's empowerment group. And everyone's supporting each other in that process, because we've not only created a group where I'm coaching them directly, but we've created a friendship and peer circle where the peers empower them rather than disempower them. So be aware of that. And I think the biggest thing is to tell your child, don't hang out with that person, is the wrong choice, because you're not teaching them. Teach your child the purpose of friends, that is there to empower them. And then ask them, is your friend someone that empowers you? Is this group of people who empower you, or do they disempower you? Let them start to figure it out in themselves. What are your dreams? Do you want to feel good about yourself in life? Yes, I do. Does this group of friends help you feel good about yourself? Or do they make you feel worse about yourself? So figure out what they want in their life, and then get them to question, does that group of people take them towards that? Now you're not telling them who to choose. You're showing them how to choose, which is more powerful.
Thank you for that, AC. To all the attendees here, unfortunately, we're running out of time. We only have time for 2 more quick questions.
Sure.
So the next question I'm going to present to AC to answer is from a parent. What is the best way to deal with your children when your own emotions get tested sometimes?
That's why this session is for you. Very simple, right? Because my own emotions are getting tested. So I think in 2 minutes, I'm going to do this exercise with you to get you into a different emotional state. So you'll know how to change it, and I'll give you the trigger. So that's coming up in literally 2 minutes. But you have to change you first. Leadership, lead my own ship. I'm not going to change them. Let me tell you, I did this a really funny exercise once. It's quite a funny thing. A mother came to me, she goes, my child is always throwing a tantrum. Like always. And I said, great. I said, how do you respond? She goes, I respond by shouting at them. I said, that's really going to help them get out of a tantrum. If your choice of response is anger to your child, it will never work. What is your when they're throwing a tantrum, they're not looking for attention. They're looking for one of 6 needs, and I show them what those 6 needs are. And if we do another webinar, I'll tell you guys what those needs are. But I went through those needs. I said, that's what they're really looking for. So instead of just screaming at them, answer their need. Let me tell you, if your child is upset, what if your new belief around it is not, I need to manage them, but I need to understand them. I'll tell you the greatest gift you can be as a parent, 2 greatest gifts. 1, be a great learner, and 1, be present. If you're a learner to your child, not a teacher, you'll help them much better. And if you're present to them, you'll see the clues that are stopping them from being who they really are, and are getting in the way of the emotions they're feeling. And I'll tell you that because when I meet you, I literally will, I do a seminar, and at the back of the room, I can look at a kid. I did a session once. I looked at the back of the room. I could read a girl's body language. I knew in my mind she was suicidal. She didn't say a word to me. And I literally looked at her and I told a story about suicide. And I made an eye contact with her. At the end of the session, she came up to me. She tapped me on the shoulder and said, "AC, thank you. I had a plan to take my life tonight. And thanks to you, I've decided not to. And I feel this feeling of courage." I didn't even know her name, but I read her emotion. And if you're interested in being into doing that, there's a mastery class in this. I can teach you how to be a coach. I'm happy to train you as one of our trainers or coaches, so you can literally read a kid in a second and know what the issue is, what's the pattern, and then how to shift it. Every emotion is a pattern. And once you know how to identify the pattern, second step, interrupt the pattern, and third step, shift the pattern, you can help the kid. But the first person you identify the patterns with is who? You. And the thing is, I've taught you already today 3 patterns: B, M, W. Oh, I'm getting tense. Oh, I'm taking my mind into a certain focus. Oh, I'm starting to use these words. Well, let me be aware of these patterns. Let me change these patterns to a different word, to different focus, different body language, and then let me respond differently.
Thank you. And AC, on a lighter note, I must say, I've asked my parents to go to the other room right now so that there's no disturbance on this webinar, but I'm sure I'll make them hear the YouTube recording so that I have a much better experience.
I love it. I love it.
Last question for you, AC. I don't want to take a lot of time. Last question here is, my child talks a lot at home with people he or she is familiar with, but not very interactive with others or in school. How do you help that?
Sorry, I lost the question for a second. Can you repeat it one more time?
The child talks a lot at home with people the child's very familiar with, but when he or she goes out or with people in school, they don't interact at all. So how do you help that?
Perfect. Great question. So here's the thing. Your child is not lacking in confidence. Let me make that clear. Your child is lacking in self-belief. And what is underneath self-belief is one need. I haven't met your child, but I can already tell you what their number one need in life is out of the 6 needs. The number one need in life is certainty and comfort. So I say that to you because when they feel certain and comfortable, they can open up. But outside, they don't feel certain or comfortable, so they can't express themselves. So the key with your child is not to force them, hey, jump in the deep end. Is like our camps are great, for example, because they get to come out of their comfort zone. But show them that actually certainty is not about outside, it's internal. And when you can feel inner certain, the goal is not to get them out of needing certainty. The goal is to help them find a more empowering and easy way to get certainty in themselves so that they can then embrace other needs like growth, love, and connection. And then they'll go out and express who they are. I was like that as a kid, very shy. I couldn't talk to anyone. I would have like one friend I could talk to and I was great with them. But anyone outside of that, I was scared. I couldn't get on stage and talk. Oh my God, I had to do it once and I cried. I cried on stage. And I said, I looked at the audience and I said, I can't talk anymore. I'm sorry. I ran off the stage. Today I speak on stage for 10 hours. It's not that I'm suddenly some brilliant guy. It's I've just learned how to make my need of certainty one that I meet in myself so that I can deliver certainty for my audience. That's the difference. Your child just needs certainty. That's all it is. And I'm happy to help you, happy to have a one-on-one conversation on how to do that. Mukund, before we go, it's really important that I leave them with this 2-minute trigger because
Sure.
That's the big piece of this whole thing. So should we do that now?
Please, please.
Perfect. Okay. Everyone close your eyes. Eyes means closed, not open, okay? Close your eyes. And take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Really blow that out of your mouth. One more time. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And keep your eyes closed the whole time. And as your eyes are closed, I want you to remember a time you felt at your best. Think of a time you felt proud of yourself. Think of a time you felt happy with yourself. Keep your eyes closed and remember a time you felt courageous, or you felt confident, or you felt committed, or you felt creative, or you felt at your most caring. Remember that time when you felt at your best. See that time. See that memory. What did you do that day? What did you feel that day? What was the moment? Reenact that scene in your mind. What did you hear that day? What did you feel that day? What was your body like that day? How did you stand that day? How did you breathe that day? How did you sit up that day? Do that right now. Stand the way you were standing that day right now. Feel what you were feeling that day right now. See what you were seeing that day right now. Hear what you were hearing that day right now. Picture what you were feeling that day right now. Feel what you said inside of you right now. Hear what you heard in your own mind to yourself. I can do this. I've got this right now. Focus on what you focused on that day right now. Put yourself in that state right now. Put your body there. Put your focus there. Put your words there right now. If you said to yourself, I can do this, squeeze your fist right now, sit up straight and say, I can do this. Whatever you said to yourself that day, say it right now. That is your anchor. That is your success code. Say it right now. Say it, feel it, see what you felt that day right now. I can do this. I've got this. I'm a champion. I'm fearless. Whatever you said to yourself, what did you focus on? How do I make this happen? How do I help my kids? What was your body like? I was smiling. I was laughing. I was jumping. My shoulders were back. I was breathing. Feel that right now. Take yourself to the peak level of energy right now. Stand the way you were standing. Breathe the way you were breathing. Feel what you were feeling. Say out loud what you were saying to yourself that day. Squeeze your right fist as you say it. And now feel strong as you do that. Squeeze your right fist right now and say, champion. Squeeze your right fist tight and say, champion, as you're feeling this. And then say the emotion you were feeling. But you're going to say, I am before it. I am courage. I am confidence. I am commitment. I'm creativity. Whatever it is for you right now, say that emotion and say, I am it as you feel it and remember it. That's it. That's it. And breathe in and breathe out. And imagine if you live with that muscle every day, what does your life look like 1 year from now? What does your business look like 1 year from now? What does your children look like 1 year from now? What does your family life look like 1 year from now? See it, hear it, feel it. What does your life look like 5 years from now if you live this one muscle? If you build that muscle day in, day out? What's possible? If you want that life, squeeze your fist and say, champion. If you want that life, squeeze your fist and say, I am courage, or I am confidence, or I am commitment. If you want your children to have these muscles, say, I am courage, as if you're going to build it for them. And then 10 years from now, if you live this, what's your life look like? Take yourself that peak, see that life, see that family, see that relationship, see those children, see your life, see your business, see everything, and squeeze your fist and say, I am a champion. And squeeze your fist and say, I am courage. I am confidence. I am creativity. I am caring. And breathe in. And breathe out. And hold your left wrist. And say, peace, peace, peace. And have a happy memory for your life. Any happy memory. And now breathe in and say, peace, peace, peace. And have a happy future memory. And see your future living with this number one champion value and champion muscle. And if that's the life you are, and if that's the life you want, and if that's who you are, From now on, refer to yourself as the confident Mukund, or the courageous Mukund, or the committed Mukund, or the creative Mukund, or the caring Mukund. That's not just something you feel, it's who you are. Breathe in, breathe out, open your eyes. How do you feel? By the way, just to give you a sense, in our webinar for kids that's on Saturdays, we had one kid who came on who said, I said, how are you feeling? She said, I feel 4 out of 10. The next week, her name was Akanksha. She came on the webinar and her name was changed on the name on the Zoom webinar. And it was called the Unstoppable Akanksha in 1 week. And she went from a 4 to what she described as an 8 in terms of how she's feeling about herself. And from then on, she's not only changed in now 6 weeks of doing this, she's now helping me help other kids on the webinar who are having a difficult time. So you can change this. Here's the information about it for the people who wanted the energy audio. It's here on our website. And if you want to sign up for the energy challenge, where I will be your coach, we will be your coach on WhatsApp and help you every day and give you experts to help you literally put yourself in the highest level of physical, emotional, spiritual, mental energy over the next 21 days and help you build these emotional muscles. Please reach out to my team, reach out to us on this email and through the school, because we have a limited thing. I do usually charge this course, but I'm doing it for free to help people in this time of COVID. So happy to help you, happy to serve you and be your coach during this time so you can build the emotional muscle to be champions and to raise champions.
Thank you so much, AC. As we come towards the end of today's session, may I now invite the host for this JNS education series and headmistress of JNS, Ms. Sonali Gandhi, to close today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukund. I'm sure all our attendees have picked up on the fact that AC has so much to offer, and he's so aware himself of the paucity of time that he's rushing through it all because he wants to make sure you get the most out of what he has to say in the limited time that we've been able to offer him. Thank you so much, AC. You've made us take a quick mental check of our current emotional states, the reminder about strengthening our emotional muscles and being aware of our responsibility. These have been phenomenal takeaways from this webinar. What's been particularly helpful is the zest and expertise with which you've answered all kinds of questions that have come your way. The BMW that you've gifted us with is definitely going to make life ahead a joyride. Thank you once again for everything that you brought here to this webinar.
Pleasure. And I also want to thank you and thank the trustees and everyone. Like I said, I chatted with you guys yesterday, and by parents, we're working with them right now to figure out ways we can do more things with you and help your kids. So definitely, if that's something you want, please connect with the school. We're working on this together. It all starts from the top, and I see champions in your leadership. I see champions in your leaders. Sonali, you've been an absolute pleasure to work with. Mukund, you're a true champion. If your parents are in the other room and they're listening to this right now, please tell them from me that they have every reason to be very proud of you. Because if I would, as a big brother to you, I'm totally proud of who you are, the leadership you've shown today, and the kind of heart, compassion, caring, and I can tell you live in all these muscles. And if you can live them, you can bring them to your school. So thank you guys. Thank you, Sonali.
Thank you so much.
AC, you got that absolutely right. Mukund is indeed somebody who has all these muscles well developed, quintessentially very caring, very compassionate, smiling all the time. I suspect he smiles even in his sleep. Thank you, Mukund, for being such a phenomenal, such a fantastic moderator once again.
My pleasure, Miss, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to moderate this webinar once more with none other than AC.
Oh.
Thank you to everyone behind the scenes who makes these webinars possible. And of course, once again, I must repeat, particular thanks to Mr. Sujay Jairaj for having conceptualized these very early on during this period of, I'd like to call it, time to look within. I'm going to refrain from using the word lockdown anymore.
I love it.
So have a wonderful day ahead, people. We have something very exciting coming up on Thursday. and details about the same